I've got something pretty interesting planned today. Found something that I'm going to pick up. Kind of rare, at least for the age. It's not the four-wheeler I wanted. He made me a heck of a deal on. Bought on a Tuesday, sold on a Saturday. Made 1,100 bucks. What do you think about this thing? I've got sunglasses. I got a drink. I got my coffee mug. Got my pistol. I've got my phone, my charger, and a stack of cash. I think I'm ready. So there's something out there that you want. You don't really have the extra money laying around to just go buy it. How do you figure out how to obtain it? Well, I'll tell you how I've done it. A handful of years ago, a friend of mine had a Polaris 250 four-wheeler. I kind of wanted a four-wheeler for my son and stuff for us to just kind of have some fun on. It's not the four-wheeler I wanted. He made me a heck of a deal on, and I bought it for 500 bucks. Couldn't have found a better four-wheeler for 500 bucks for sure. So we had that for a couple years. I really wanted a utility four-wheeler, something that had racks where I could do a little work around the place. I decided I'm going to put this thing up for trade and see if I get any kind of offers for some sort of utility four-wheeler. Finally, after a few months, I have this guy offer to trade me Honda Recon 250, little small utility four-wheeler, pretty much right up the alley of what I wanted. Had brand new, super meaty tires on it. He'd rebuilt the engine, ran great, and he said he would trade me straight up. That four-wheeler, I guessed, was at least worth 1,000 bucks. So I go from spending 500 on the Polaris, I trade it straight up for the Honda, which is the four-wheeler that I want. It just rode really, really rough, especially with the aggressive tires on it. And after riding some of the bigger ones of my in-laws, some friends, I decided, hey, I would love to get something that, one, looks a little nicer, but mainly something that just had a lot nicer ride to it. So I start looking around. I'm trying to unload my Honda and try to get to something nicer without spending any money or as little as possible. Ended up selling my Honda for 1,200 bucks, which wasn't bad. So I've more than doubled my money. Not a big fan of Polaris. I come across a deal on a 2006 Polaris Sportsman 500 EFI, fuel injected. It's got 5,500 miles on it and right at just under 1,000 hours. High mileage, high hours. It's been farm used. The guy's asking $2,000 for it. So I drive an hour and a half away to go check this thing out. End up getting it for 1,400 bucks. The thing runs great, drives great, four-wheel drive works. It's got new tires on the front. The rear tires are needing to be replaced, but hold air. The thing's rough around the edges, but it's a good four-wheeler. And after doing a bunch of research, I figured out that these Polaris 500s are a pretty solid bike. They're kind of a staple in the utility four-wheeler world. They've been building them since the 90s, and these four-stroke bigger Polarises seem to be great machines. As I started looking around, I realized everyone else with similar four-wheelers were asking a lot more money for it. I had full intentions of keeping it, so I couldn't help myself, and I took pictures of it, put it back on the marketplace. On a Saturday, a guy shows up, gives me 2,500 bucks for it. Bought on a Tuesday, sold on a Saturday, made 1,100 bucks. So now I've gone from $500 Polaris, traded for a Honda 250, which I sold for 1,200. Bought a Polaris for 1,400, so I've only spent $200 more now. And within 4 days, sold it for 2,500 bucks. So I've been looking really hard for the past week. I really have decided I want another Polaris 500. The thing it rode like a Cadillac. independent rear suspension, whereas everything else in my price range pretty much has a straight axle. More than enough power, 4-wheel drive, has a low range. I've determined I'm gonna find something for $2,500. Something similar to what I have, but I want less miles. I couldn't get anyone local to meet me on price. Most people were asking more like $3,000 or more for the bikes I was looking at. I find this one that is in St. Peters, Missouri. It's 3.5 hours from me. It's got 350 miles and I believe 84 hours. Crazy. It's been kept in a garage. I think they live in a subdivision, it looks like from the pictures. And they just don't get out and ride it much. Second owner, and he says when it idles for a while, it starts leaking fuel out of the carb. Otherwise, everything works. It looks like brand new from the pictures. It's even got the optional winch on the front and the tubular optional bumper that you could get for the front of them. The guy's asking $3,000 for it, which I think is very reasonable. This one is probably way nicer condition than anything else its age. Definitely considering the extremely low hours and miles. And call me crazy, but I'm willing to drive 3.5 hours. I said, what's your bottom dollar? The guy says $2,700. If he's willing to tell me $2,700, I'm sure I can show up $2,500 cash and he'll take it. I'm thinking if I let this thing sit through another weekend, it's gonna be gone. It's almost deer season right now. And these four-wheelers people are asking crazy prices for, and they're selling. It's going to be a 7-hour round trip, not counting any stops for gas, bathrooms, or food. You know, the point is, if you sit around and wait and are patient and have cash on hand, and you're vigilant enough about your search, as long as you have a little bit of money to start, you can start buying those deals and flipping and getting use out of it in the meantime, and to get up to what you want. It's a great way to make some money on the side, and it's a great way to acquire something that you don't have enough money laying around that you can afford, you know, what it is that you want otherwise. It just takes a little time and a little work. In my case, I knew I didn't want to spend more than $2,500 because that's what I've traded up to, and that's the cash I had on hand. And I just went through and I made a list of all these different four-wheelers I was interested in, and I just started sending out $2,500 offers. None of us really like lowballers, but if someone lowballs you, don't take it personally. You know, a lot of things in the past, I've made crazy low offers that I thought there's no way this will ever happen, but I'm going to try. And, you know, in the case of an 06 Yamaha R6 sport bike one time that had like 1,200 miles on it, practically brand new, I made the guy a stupid low offer, and he said, let me check with my wife on what's payoff, and he accepted my offer. You know, don't be afraid to make low offers, and don't get offended when people make you low offers, because if you send out enough offers, you know, there's a good chance that eventually someone's going to bite. If you've got someone that's basically 2 hours from any big city, a lot of times those deals are going to sit there because not too many people are willing to go that far to find those deals. And if you can do it during the week, you know, most people work your normal 9 to 5 Monday through Friday jobs, and they cannot go look at those things during the week. And if you can do it and you can beat the weekend crowd, you can get some great deals. So those are my tips on doing some wheeling and dealing, getting something you maybe otherwise can't afford, or just getting the best deal you can on something you're looking for. It works. I'll get some video footage while I'm picking this thing up. Is that it? Nice house. Really nice house. Escalade, an Audi in the garage, and a big old nice pickup in the driveway. This is supposed to be it. first startup. We'll see how she does. Sure she can park. Oh yeah. Well, I got it. I guess we're headed home. This is pretty much the only thing wrong with the entire thing. Oil looks brand new. Can't even really see it on the stick. What do you think about this thing?
Wait, why does it have this hook?
That's called a winch. That thing comes out so you can...
Well, I know what a winch is.
It helps pull you up a huge hill if you need it.
And you can hook to farm.
Yeah.
I know what it is. Sometimes a lot of boats have hitches.
Mm-hmm.
Put it probably on the back.
Are you excited about this thing?
Yep. Is this open?
Yeah, it does, just like the other one did.
I want to open it and see how much room is in here.
Oh, there's a little spider.
That's just as much room as the old one. Probably.
Yep. They're the exact same inside there.
Does the back open the same?
Mm-hmm. And he gave me some big, nice toe straps for the back.
Daddy, I see them.
Mm-hmm.
Is the back the same as the old one?
Yep. Come here. This is the one thing where it's kind of broke. Right there.
Oh, goodness.
Yep, that's the only thing. Other than that, pretty good, huh?
Daddy, it isn't leaking right now.
No, it doesn't leak that much. But I'm gonna fix it.
Dad, come watch me open the back one and shut the back one. I opened it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you know how it works.
Yep, put it.
So what do you think, bud, now that it's home?
I wouldn't be excited if you wouldn't let me have two people in here. But I know you will.
Yep, we're gonna break their rule, aren't we?